What up, y'all? Bankroll Tim, LSMC. About to get this back seat out. Let's take the back seat out. When you guys are trying to pull the back bottom right here out, you push this bottom metal, push it back, down a little bit, and up. And you'll get it to come out without tearing the seat in.
Dad!
Hold on, babe.
Where's the little blue seat?
Okay, hold on. So I'm gonna take the back seat out, take the upper part of the back seat out, take the back deck out, get the panels out of my way so we can start mini tubbing. Get this carpet out of here. Like I was saying, the way this hinge setup works, somebody replaced that. But anyways, you don't have to cut into the hinge itself. When this hinge goes down and where the curve rests, that would be your top of tub right there. There's no reason to cut into this. 28s maybe with the tub and wanting to stuff the car completely on the ground like how we're doing the GN, and I'll show you how we'll do those hinges. But on the Gbodies, on this LSMC, I'm gonna get this back seat out. So I'll be right back with y'all. And here we go. Got the back seat totally out. Got the sound deadening insulation out of the way. I'm about to get these lower panels right here. Get those off out of the way so I can make my cuts in there. I'll rough cut the tubs out. So a couple screws to get those out. Got everything taken out the trunk. Got the carpet out the way. Got the spare tire out the way, which car originally, well, you know, they set it up with 5 of those, 4 on it. This car was in a calendar. I forget the name of it. Maybe I'll post it. But anyways, now time to rough cut these tubs out my way. As you can see, the car is a very, very clean car. So, be back in a minute. Back at it. As you can see, I got the tubs rough cut out. Just cut this panel out the way. Or tub out the way. I got the lower panels taken off. Boom. I haven't taped the windows off yet, but I haven't hit the windows with any sparks. Anytime you guys are cutting the tubs out of the car, any cutting with the cutoff wheel, stuff like that, it's easier with the cutoff wheel, but you get sparks whenever. When sparks touch glass, they put little burns in them. So if you feel the glass, like with your nails, and you feel it ripple, it's got burns in the glass. So then, like, you go to tint the glass, obviously you won't be able to tint it. It's not gonna look right. You could wet sand and buff the glass, but I don't know exactly how good that is. So the main thing is to be careful of the glass. Tape it off. So I made sure I watched all my cuts, made sure where the sparks were going when I was cutting these. Obviously the ones in here, the angle of it wasn't really going into the car, in the car side. I was watching where my sparks were going. So I angled them down, I angled them sideways so they didn't hit the windows, and I just tested the windows. They're all good. So I'm gonna get the cardboard paper that I have, tape off the glass, because even when you're welding, and you tack welding it in, you get weld slag to fly around, and it could hit the glass too and burn the glass. So another thing to watch out for when you guys are doing this rough cut. And then of course this cut will end up being over to here, and then it'll follow that. But I'm gonna rough cut it out so that way I don't overcut it, so I don't have to patch it. Excuse me. This is a clean car, so no need to overlap with strips, you know, strips of steel in there, sheet metal, whatever you want to call it. Some of these cars are rusty, so then you got to get into patching this area down here. Same thing on that side. The trunk area is right up in here to be rotted. When you look in the wheel well of the cars, you'll see that that's all separated, but you can see that this car right here, all the seam is good. So that's a plus working on a clean car. It's a plus. Not cheaper, just a plus. But all right, that's where we're at now, and I'm gonna get to cutting the rest of this out the way. back in a minute. And here we go. I got it rough cut. Rough cut enough. So now I can get it up in the air. On the lift. Get the back wheels off. Get the rear end out of it. Trim it up a little bit more for the tubs, but basically, yeah, trim it up a little bit more so that way I can trim the frame. Easier to trim the frame to do the frame notch with the tub area out of the way when you're tubbing. If you're doing just a frame notch, obviously, tubs are gonna stay. So, I taped off the quarter windows, found some masking tape, taped those off. I still didn't hit them with any type of metal, but I haven't rough cut in there, obviously, because the tire, that's close. And I got to be able to get right there to follow that line in here. But yeah, getting it. So now, I'll get this thing up on the lift and take the rear end and everything out. Back in a minute. And here we are. Got the rear end completely out. Right there on the floor. Leaving this one together because I have the other one over there with the motor axles and everything. That's gonna go in it. Everything's gonna get narrowed and braced and all that. This one I'll probably narrow a little bit, brace it up, put some adjustable buckets on it, clean it up, paint it inside with the drum brakes. So, anyways, back to this LSMC. Like I said, the tubs, that's a rough cut out. This would be cut right with the mount. So it'll open up this area right here, but when I put the tub in there, I'll have that capped. So it caps off where the mount is. So the mount will still be there, obviously it's here. This is the metal right there. So this would be cut out of here and straight across. Frame notch. Like I said, I got a set of UMI frame plates to put in here. This would be the first time that I ever use those plates instead of the stock plate. Normally I just put the stock plate back in. But I'm gonna be putting frame bracing underneath here. So I'm gonna put the cross member from the frame here, right behind the mufflers, across. 2 bends in it, probably a bend here, bend over here. Obviously the drive shaft to be above it. It's gonna cut these pockets out. Pocket needs to be cut out across here, down over here, because the crossbar has to go as high up as you can get it. Even if you're a little above on the frame rail, half the tube above, and then you can fill in the top or whatever. But you have to get this bar as high as you can get it across on these Gbodies. I run a 10-inch coilover, so it's better for me. Then I don't have to go as high with the crossbar up here, but the crossbar still has to go all the way up here. And your shock distance, keep the center at least 3.5 inches from now to here to the center of the shock distance for coilover, weld in straight up and down, and then your anti-roll will come off that same bar across there. So this way is going to be blinding to that light, but see, keep saying it to everybody. And this is one day, not even a full day. I rough cut the tubs out all myself. Took the back seat out, taped off the windows, took the back interior trim out, took everything out of the trunk. Cut the tubs out as much as I could while I was on the ground. Put it up in there, took the wheels off. My buddy helped me. My buddy Jason helped me with taking the rear end out and taking it down, but real quick. And yeah, so that's where we're at right now, and I'll be back in a minute. All right, well, that's what I'm gonna leave you with on this video, because I got a lot of other shit I need to do. Changing the front rotors to the other rotors, drilled and slotted, stock, bolt up, not any type of aftermarket except for a stock drill and slotted rotor. Has the wheelwood caliper on there floating, which the back will have the same setup as the front. So yeah, mini tub, notching, narrowing, frame bracing, frame tying, cross member, coilovers. Stay tuned to the channel to watch more on this build. Trying to get this build done ASAP so I can get onto the blue LS box Chevy that's next door. Try to get that one zipped out pretty fast too. That one's not as much work as this one. Still a lot of work, just not as much as this one. What I was saying about those hinges, you don't have to cut the bottom of this hinge. I don't know if there's no light. I'll get that in another video, how I'm gonna set that up. So with the trunk lid down, you can see, well, you can't see, but you can kind of see the hinge right there. So the tub will actually go straight across. It'll be fine. It'll have plenty of room. You don't have to notch the tub out to make the hinge go into the tub. You just make the tub touch, or you make the hinge touch the top of the tub when the tub is in there. So we'll get the tubs formed up, all that, get some bracing on here, but stay tuned. This is part 1 or part 15, whatever you want to call it, but basically it's part 1 of the back of the car. Many type of notch and narrowing, coilovers, frame bracing, tucking, all the good shit. So stay tuned to the channel. Bankroll Tim, Bedded Up Customs, and I'm out for now. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.